Blessed to be with you. Kevin Miller in the morning at KIDO Talk Radio. We are so fired up today. We've got our great friend Phil Hardy joining us from Washington, D.C. We've got the situation across the country where the pro-life forces have rallied to send a message to Planned Parenthood, send a message to the libs that they're not going to back down. We'll hear from David Ripley, Idaho Chooses Life. Congressman Fulcher will join us, and that's all before 7:30. And as always, your phone calls matter. We love to hear from you at 580-5436-580-KIDO. Before we get to Big Phil, do want to remind everybody, Miller's Mission begins Monday. That's right, Monday. Can't wait to go back to the Walmart, Garrity and Franklin, to live there, to help our friends at the Boise Rescue Mission. We're collecting pennies, dollars, cents, non-perishable items, clothes. Please help us kick off the summer right here in the Treasure Valley with Miller's Mission. More details, KIDOTalkRadio.com, or you can go to BoiseRM.org. Find out how you can make a difference. Joining us now from Strategies 360, our old friend Phil Hardy. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
You know, I'm just trying to figure out how many frequent flyer miles you have as you travel across the country, covering politics, influencing policymakers. You probably know the make and model of every airplane, right?
To be completely honest, there's this website where once you get your seat assigned by the airline, you can actually go by plane and choose what seats you want based on this website saying which seats are better than others. So I do that every time I book a flight.
I love it. That's
how serious it gets after a while.
I can imagine it could be competitive, those people that travel. So a lot of us get queasy flying, and I know this is kind of off topic, but you're used to this. How is it? Is it normal to just hop on a plane for 3 or 4 hours at a time?
It can be. I recently had a flight, though, that was pretty bad. I'm trying to remember what – I was on a private aircraft, actually. And the plane took off, like, completely vertically and went up to, like, 45,000 feet. And I was like, well, this is a little different. Most flights are pretty normal now. Every now and then you get a bumpy one, and you're like, oh, this isn't fun. But, you just get used to it. I spend far too much time on airplanes. I'm looking forward to a time when I really don't have to do that. I'll be completely honest. I'm sick of it.
Indeed. So let's talk a little bit about life in the swamp. We hear what's going on with the Democrats' call for impeachment. Nancy Pelosi, he's goading us. It sounds like more of a soap opera or sitcom drama than the House of Representatives. What's it like on the inside?
You're actually pretty close to the truth there. And really, I think that what's happening, and Speaker Pelosi is a real fine line that she's having to walk, because she and other senior Democrats, especially committee chairmen, who've been waiting for, obviously over 10 years now, or just about 10 years, to be back in power, they want to accomplish certain items. And they definitely want to do something like infrastructure. But they've got these young Turks, their own version of the Freedom Caucus, that are holding them back, or the rabble-rousers who have nothing else to do but to talk about impeachment. And so she's playing this balancing act where periodically she tries to rein them in and say, calm down, and let's get something serious done. And then she has to go back and play that role of saying he's goading us, the president, he's impeaching himself. It's very difficult right now for senior Democrats to control the young AOC part of their caucus. It's debilitating. And I'm almost starting to get the impression that the president is enjoying keeping these talks going, because the average American sort of believes, if you look at the polling, that there was no collusion, that there was no real underlying crime. So they're just out to get him. It really sort of starting to fit into a reelection strategy. And with the number of candidates ever increasing announcing for president, it's going to make the entire Democratic primary just a complete circus.
Indeed. Phil Hardy joining us, Strategies 360. When he's not in the Treasure Valley, he's working in Washington, D.C. We've known Phil for years. He's worked for just about every branch of government, and in a previous life, the Rock and Rollers. Your thoughts on the Trump administration? You worked for the president, for the campaign. We get the everything, is horrible. Everything sucks. It's horrible. It's worse. It's blah, blah, blah. Your thoughts on, you've been to the White House. You've been to the old executive office building. You know these folks. What's their strategy?
Yeah, I got to be completely honest with you, Kevin. They're not exactly the best. There are a dwindling number of people in key positions who would have been there, say, a year ago, a year and a half ago. And the concentration of power is ever growing into the hands of Jared Kushner and the president's daughter, Ivanka. I know this may come as some surprise to you, but they are really in control of great, large amounts of the government, and their staff are doing a lot of the work. So, and as you might also imagine, they're not necessarily doing it particularly well. They're trying to take on too many tasks that would have been performed by other folks. So really, it's not actually as fully functional a White House as you might have expected or wanted. But the president does focus on the things that are most important to him. And that is really the trade situation with China. That is something that takes up a majority of his time, as well as trying to figure out some sort of infrastructure package, which is also important to the Democrats, as well as to Republicans. So those are really the issues that are going on domestically. But what you're also starting to see bubble up, and people are sort of curious about this, is the situation with Iran, which is starting to look like, if we don't really take very good care of this, there may be some sort of bomb throwing, and I mean the real bombs.
Well, you have the president looking at moving 120,000 troops into the Persian Gulf region. You have non-essential personnel being told to leave Iraq. The president, of course, ran on trying to get us out of these wars. But, Phil, as you know, and most people listening to KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM, the Iranians sponsor state terrorism. They sponsor Hezbollah, Hamas. And there's that non-denial denial going on about the tankers that have been attacked in the Persian Gulf.
Yeah, this is a situation that's sort of come out of left field for most of us in D.C. We weren't expecting something like this to happen. And frankly, and you're right, the president isn't really particularly interested in going that far. He campaigned on getting us out of places like the Middle East. So I'm not sure how this has become such a quick issue. And people in D.C. are only starting to look at it and say, is this actually genuinely serious, or is this some sort of pivot, away from the constant battering on impeachment and collusion? It's a very curious situation. But one of the things that has really helped, and a lot of people do appreciate in this town, is the new Attorney General, Barr. Bill Barr has just sort of been this steadying influence and just sort of a boss that's really put a lid on a lot of the things that did not have a lid on them previously in the Justice Department. So this move with Iran could be to distract or to draw a line under things, or it really could be something far more serious. So we're really competing with this domestic agenda with this foreign agenda, which we really haven't had too much of other than the dismantling of ISIS. So Washington's in a sort of weird position at the moment where we're not quite sure what the next step on things is going to be.
Phil Hardy joining us, Strategies 360. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Now, do you hang out with the Idaho delegation at all?
I do. I'm actually in Congressman Fulcher's office often. I've got a lot of friends in there, and I do see the staff of Senator Risch and Crapo. I mean, it's a great little group. It's a small delegation, so you do see the men and women who work in those offices, really regularly. Yes.
Well, give us a report card. How are they doing? Since you get a chance to, you're our eyes and ears, Phil.
What I'd like to say, and I don't want to blow smoke, but I think that Congressman Fulcher is really settling in very well into his role. And he really, and talking with he and his staff, they really want to try to participate in getting things done. And obviously they're in the minority, and the Democrats have control. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the Democrats have all bad ideas on the committees that he's serving on. And his job is to try to see if he can make some of their ideas better ideas, or to make some of their worst ideas less bad ideas. And he's not one of those who's going to just sit there and say, I'm not going to participate. This is ridiculous. I don't agree with you. He's actually trying to do the work of a serious legislator and make things better for the people. So that's really been, for a staff, and he's being there only, 4 or 5 months, that's a really promising sign. And it would bode well if he makes friends on the other side for when I hope, Republicans take back the House in the next election. That, it's good to have friends on both sides. It doesn't have to always be complete animosity. So I take my hat off and I give him and his staff credit for that, for sure.
Well, we sure do miss you. We know you're back and forth all the time. I want to go back to your previous life. Many people don't know that you worked with, if they don't follow you on Facebook, you launched a lot of big stars back in the day. You know Kip Winger, you know all these other folks, Whitesnake, this, that, and the other. So your thoughts from your previous profession of Garth Brooks coming to Broncos Stadium, the enormity of putting on a show like that. You know it from back in the day. How big a deal is it, not only for the area, but logistically making that happen? I think 5 shows?
It's a really big deal, to be completely honest with you. Any stadium show is a very, very big deal. Logistically, it takes, there could be a couple of hundred people who are involved with his tour and with the production. It never ceased to amaze me that an artist of that size can have a staff, or people on staff, that would rival actually the record company. So, there's multiple levels of staff that all report to one person on the road, which is called a tour manager. And these people they're running small companies, or even, medium to small size companies that move from city to city and have to deal with the differences in every stadium. So Bronco Stadium is not really one that I'm not familiar with having many concerts in it. So the people who actually work at Bronco Stadium don't necessarily have that expertise. So that expertise has to go with the artist where they go from here to here. Now, I know one of the things that they're going to be concerned about at Bronco Stadium is protecting the field. So they're going to have to put down certain layers of protection because people will be trampling on that, and you can damage a field very easily. So these are things that I learned, especially when I was on tour with Aerosmith in Europe, that, it's a small army of people that you're also bringing into the stadium. And that part they are familiar with, but you've got the entire floor or the field that's also going to be covered, which is, increases the number of people, and it's larger than what is normally expected. There's so many logistical things. It's quite remarkable that he's coming to Bronco Stadium, and it's a great thing. It's going to bring a lot of money to the economy. It's certainly going to bring a lot of money to Garth Brooks, I can tell you that.
Phil Hardy, anything else you'd like to share? Would you like to say hello to your friends, your family, anybody back home?
Well, I'm looking forward to coming back home soon, Kevin. Believe it or not, my daughter Maddie's going to be 21 on Monday, and my son Spencer graduates Boise High School on Tuesday. So, life is going pretty quickly, so I'm looking forward to seeing my family, and to the extent I can see some friends, and especially you, that would be pretty neat. So I appreciate you asking, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone, and I appreciate you having me on.
Well, we need to do it more often. I know you're busy, but we miss you, brother.
Thanks so much, Kevin.
Thank you. Our great friend Phil Hardy joining us. Strategies 360. Boy, Phil has worked in every level of state government, and giving us that exclusive insight of how President Trump is handling not only the Democrats, but this evolving situation with the crazy, wacky, zany Iranians. Let's go to It's Been a While, R&R with a Paulette Jordan update. Good morning, sir.
Hey, will you do me a solid? This is a 2 lines from R&R. It ain't 1964 anymore. Today's epic. What the family of President Bush, what they're going to announce with the requirements to come into America. I got nothing but accolades and praise to say for. I mean, it is family. It is the president's family after all that's putting together, because he's trying to keep the world together. while the demon rats try to destroy it. Well, you do. The solid is Congressman Fulcher was absolutely ordained at this time in life, and I feel like a schmuck for. I got my Scottish ire up one day when I was on the telephone with him. Just to let him know R&R thinks he's doing a great job too.
Well, I'll tell you this. Let me put it to you this way: Congressman Fulcher, and I never know when he's listening. Occasionally,
he'll be on at 7.
Right, but occasionally he'll send me a text that he's listening right now. So chances are, R&R, he's hearing you. If not, I'm going to write myself a note right now to say R&R says hey, and he's sorry.
Well, what you said that was, Dave, hey, look out for that R&R. You said it's all in a name. Just let him know. I think, especially when your last voice before me, what a good human being. I can't even imagine I got grandkids that are almost at the age of his kid graduating from Boise. But here's what I got to say about a lot of things. I think I am certain. I love the word certain. I don't like the word. I'm certain if there is a St. Peter in the afterlife, that you're going to be right there next to him interviewing people as their way into heaven. I've said it before. No, I've said it before. You could talk to the Savior and his apostles. You could interview. I'm thinking, and lastly, I am a curmudgeon, and we live in separate counties, but you are a curmudgeon in training. You don't even qualify. I'm a curmudgeon extraordinaire. I love you, man.
Well, I love you, R&R. You take care.
Just keep on keeping on.
All right. God bless.
Peace out. God bless us all.
All right. Bye-bye. Coming up, by the way, thank you, R&R. We appreciate it. The reaction to what's going on in the state of Alabama. We first brought you this story earlier in the week. We've got the governor of Alabama signing the human rights bill. We have one presidential candidate saying that this is an assault on human rights. Folks, this is a result of Donald Trump being elected. The right feels empowered, rightfully so, to make a move. Of course, you have many people saying that this is wrong, blah, blah, blah. How can you blame people on the right? How can you blame people that for years have seen and been horrified by what has gone on in this country? Right? And so now you have Alabama, Missouri, and other states saying no more. And they say, bring it on. Let's go to the Supreme Court. Well, as we said, it's happening. The pro-life movement is striking back after years of being marginalized, vilified, and neglected through the likes of Barack Obama and his acolytes. We'll talk a little bit more about it next. Plus, another Democratic presidential candidate jumps into the field. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. And remember, you can always catch this program, KIDOTalkRadio.com. Thanks to the brilliance of Ray Amaya, we get that up at 10 o'clock. And from what we understand, the devious little libs break down this story, whether it's Media Matters, whether it's the local libs, all three of them trying to figure out how to stifle the message of conservatism, of what is right, and embracing the truth. All that before Glenn Beck. That's a heavy responsibility that we have each and every morning. KIDO Talk Radio time, 628. Let's get you to work safely and on time. Good morning, Dave. Kevin Miller in the morning here. Coming up next, Missouri passes the toughest pro-life law. They want to be known as the toughest pro-life state. Alabama signs its law. We'll have live reports throughout the morning, plus your phone calls. And do you agree with this statement?
And we must do everything that we can to protect life.
You know, listening at the top of the hour, where people are already allegedly in Alabama were worried about what they can do. With respect, is the abortion industry that really that big that this is happening all the time? And if it is, well, then we need to have more prayer, more love, more understanding. And can you blame people that for years, I mean, let's go back to the undercover work of the Planned Parenthood, the selling of the body parts and everything else, everybody around a child. Now, you're looking at prosecuting doctors. There was a bill in the Idaho legislature that looked at the same thing. That didn't go anywhere. So we'll get your thoughts on this at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Maybe you believe that this is a bad move, that we're going to have the hounds of Planned Parenthood, the ACLU, coming down. But you have people across the country united in prayer and in faith saying, let's bring it on. Be not afraid. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Good morning, Maggie. And coming up, we'll have the latest on the situation in the Persian Gulf, how it impacts fuel costs, how it impacts those who are serving and their families. Good morning, Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio, reminding you Miller's Mission underway. We will be there, Tuesday, at Monday, actually, at the Monday, Tuesday. It's all the same when you're living at the Walmart. Want to thank everybody involved with the Walmart at Garrity and Franklin in Nampa, Idaho. Hopefully we'll see the mayor of Nampa. Maybe the Chamber of Commerce will join us. Maybe you'll join us. Had an interesting conversation with a couple folks. Our friend Andrea will join us from Treasure Valley Talk. American Arsenal, a new apparel line. Had a chance to go out and do some business with them, purchase some penny gear. So you'll be seeing that. Want to thank them for their outstanding work. The folks at American Arsenal will be speaking with them and others. It's going to be a great time. And what a wonderful way to kick off the summer by helping Treasure Valley families. You hear about that, Fill the Boot. That's going on. We want to support all local charities, those firefighters and everybody out dodging traffic. So make sure you look at that. And then when it comes to your cash, your treasure, your pennies, everything, save them up. We really need them for the rescue mission starting on Monday. Big situation going on here. Let's just move on. In the state of Alabama, the state of Missouri, does it impact you? Does it impact you? I want to share with you a couple of sound clips at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, and it really shows you the two faces, the two voices of America.
Life is a gift of our Creator, and we must do everything that we can.
I am, and we're all so blessed to see the unconditional love of children. And year after year, we get a chance and we invite everybody to join us at Idaho Chooses Life. Our great friend David Ripley, who'll be joining us next hour along with Congressman Fulcher. And in that event, I see the wonderful families that have been blessed with children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. I was talking to somebody the other day, they had like 9 kids. That's amazing. Maggie O'Mara, we joke about her, and she jokes about it. She's got, 4 or 5? She wants another one? Wow. The gift of life. And for years, you've had people vilify people that stand outside the clinics holding signs, calling them extremists. And it always amazed me that they would call people that are pro-life extremists. For what? Wanting to save the lives of babies? So you heard the reaction of what's going on across the country. Here's another one.
We have already seen panic from people who are unsure of whether or not they're going to be able to get the abortions that they have scheduled this week.
Now, we're not talking about something trite here. I can't believe that Amanda Reyes, who said this from somewhere with our Fox News coverage, that people are worried about this. This is just the conservative reaction. How many times have we heard you, me, Patriot Ray, Tea Party Bob, and others say, sooner or later, there will be a conservative reaction to the counterculture movement. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that in states across the country. We're seeing that in Missouri. We're seeing that in Alabama. We'll break down the Missouri situation for you. But the folks on the left have pushed people too far. They've pushed people too far. What did we expect the reaction to be, dear brothers, dear sisters, when you had the governor of Virginia gloat on a radio station, a talk station, about the preciousness of life and having a post-birth abortion? Now, frankly, we're breaking every rule of talk radio. I was trained by the same gentleman who trained Mr. Hannity. I love Sean Hannity. I love Bill Donovan. And Bill always said, you don't talk about abortion, you're not going to get anywhere with it. And here we have it. This is sitting us right in the face at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. When you have a governor saying this, when you have, Cuomo in New York, again, East Coaster, again, elitist, again, coastal America, again, a liberal, not believing what he's saying because he's allegedly a practicing Catholic. Then you have people in the Catholic Church saying, well, we're not going to excommunicate him. Are you kidding me? And they don't believe this stuff. They're doing it to get elected. They're doing it so they can get votes. At what cost? You know, I would like to think that if there was a dream job, but you had to sell your soul to get it, it wouldn't be worth it. So you have the folks in Alabama, God bless them. The folks in Missouri, enough. Bring it on, Planned Parenthood, that is funded by your tax dollars. And we know what they do. They sell the body parts. It's been documented. Not covered by the media. The ACLU, bring it on. And these folks are not backing down. It's like that Tom Petty song, We Won't Back Down. One more time, the two voices of America on KIDO Talk Radio.
Life is a gift of our Creator, and we must do everything that we can.
Life is a gift from our Creator. And you're going to have people threatening these folks. You're going to have people saying, we're going to move out of Alabama. You have people saying, we're not going to do films in Georgia. Well, okay, we don't need your blood money. And then we have this person.
We have already seen panic from people who are unsure of whether or not they're going to be able to get the abortions that they have scheduled this week.
And the governor of Missouri.
I really believe this legislation will get done because I believe it is the will of the people and the people's voices will be heard.
580-5436, 580-KIDO. Skylar in Twin Falls with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Skylar.
Good morning. I was wondering why we need to get a citizens initiative so that we can get this anti-abortion law on the books of Idaho. I mean, Alabama, Missouri. I mean, it just makes me sick when I hear about the Virginia governor and New York's law. We need to get it done in Idaho, and I think people would sign that petition to get it on the ballot.
Question is, would our politicians support it?
That's true, but at least it would show them that we all support it so much.
That's a good point. What do you make of people saying, I mean, this woman saying people are, I mean, I don't even want to be trite with her statement. Already people are scared. I don't believe that people are scared. This is America. People are smart. But they're already rousing up the fear of states saying enough is enough. We go ahead. Come get us.
You know, fear is people's choices. If they decide to be fearful, then it is. But I think a lot of people believe in the sanctity of life, and that's what we need to deal with.
Fair enough. Skylar, God bless. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a good point. We have initiatives to legalize dope. We have initiatives to not prosecute the hemp hucksters. Why not have an initiative to pass this pro-life legislation? We'll break down what Missouri's about, but first, more of your phone calls on this issue. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Pete from Mountain Home. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning, Kevin. Two things that kind of occurred to me on this abortion issue. One, it would be kind of nice to see the federal government provide human fertilized eggs with the same protection they provide fertilized eagle eggs. If you take a fertilized egg, not a baby eagle, but a fertilized egg out of the nest, you get, I believe, 10 years in jail and a $250,000 fine. So apparently the federal government thinks eagles are more valuable than humans because, like, there's no penalty for what you do to a human embryo. Secondly, what amazes me on the left is their blindness to unintended consequences. They are killing their future voters. They are eliminating basically voters of the Democrat Party by doing this, because that seems to be who supports this the most. And it's like, well, it's really hard to understand the mindset that thinks that it's okay to kill human beings like that.
I would agree. And yet you have these states saying, we're going in, and really, can you blame them? Can you blame them considering what we've seen and what we've heard in the last, Pete, as you've broken down, in the last couple months, the last couple years?
Oh yeah, you look at Hillary Clinton saying that one of her people she really respects is Margaret Sanger. Well, Margaret Sanger wanted to eliminate African Americans and anyone else that wasn't white, and somehow that's okay with the Democrat Party. Just the whole. Basically, I think what we have here is we have a death cult. You want to talk about weird religious beliefs? I believe that the pro-abortion people would go back to worshiping Baal if they thought they could get away with it.
Pete, we appreciate the phone call. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
580-5436, 580-KIDO.
25 ayes, 6 nays, 1 abstention. House Bill 314 passes.
Doctor who does an abortion in this state under this law will probably never see life again.
Life is a gift of our Creator, and we must do everything that we can to protect life.
It's designed in every way to do just that. That's why we were trying to keep it just as it was to address the issue that Roe versus Wade was decided on, which is that baby in the womb a person.
And this is the same state and the same kind of people who also stand in the way of what women need in terms of a ban on pre-existing conditions to have access to issues like prenatal care. Like, they need to check their hypocrisy.
Will allow them to be raped, and the fact that they have to carry that child for 9 months.
I believe that most of the women in Alabama are pro-life. They voted that way last fall. And so my message to them is let's hope that we get that decision overturned.
And there we have it at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Your thoughts on this issue. Again, thankfully, people on the right have said enough. They've pushed us too far. They've pushed us too far. And now you're seeing, well, we're going to the Supreme Court. Kavanaugh, what are you going to do? Roberts, are you going to be a traitor? That's really what it comes down to. Then you could take a look at this, the bills. Let me break this down for you quickly. The proposal in Missouri does make exceptions for medical emergencies, but not in the case of rape or incest. Doctors convicted of violating the law could face 5 to 15 years in prison. Now you're going to have people saying, are we going to start prosecuting doctors? You look at what Gosnell in Philadelphia. They made a movie about him and put him in jail for what he did. The modern day Joseph Mengele. You've heard enough from me. You're next. Kevin Miller on your home for Hannity, KIDO Talk Radio. And looking for a great deal this weekend? Make sure you check us out, Idaho's largest garage sale. Gates open at 7, but I'd get there early to make sure you're good to go. All day, Saturday, Expo Idaho, wonderful deals, and you need to go there and not only get some stuff, but take a look at bargaining and stuff. Idaho's largest garage sale. Going to be a great time. Kevin Miller in the morning here, KIDO Talk Radio, coming up in 20 minutes. Congressman Fulcher, David Ripley from Idaho Chooses Life, talking about the right coming back and saying enough with the shenanigans of the left, passing pro-life legislation. Pro-life, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Yeah, this question about what to do with the child in the womb is very much like the slavery question we had back in the early 1800s. And what really brought on the Civil War was states like Wisconsin. They defied the fugitive slave laws. They said black people are really people, and the Supreme Court upheld the fugitive slave laws. But if a slave could get to the state of Wisconsin, they were home free. In Milwaukee County in 1853, the federal government had a slave in jail who was going to be transported back to the South. Well, the people of Milwaukee County broke the jail down and took him out, and the governor and all the people said, no, we're not going to have this. Then they went to the legislature, passed laws saying, we're defying the fugitive slave laws. Now, see, we don't even have a federal law saying that you can kill your baby. We just have a Supreme Court ruling, Roe v. Wade. And the real problem is that there's no state that will stand against that. Now, if some state will say, we're not going to federal court, like Wisconsin did in 1853, we're saying that babies are real people. They have the same rights as the mother to live from the very moment of when sperm meets egg.
Well, I think we're moving in that direction. Thank you, Pro-Life. Traffic and weather together. Good morning, Dave. And let's go to Jack. Jack, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Jack, I thought I was Bill.
Go ahead, Bill.
I can't say, oh, no. Oh, no, Jack, no. Hey, I just wanted to mention a couple things about you were talking about the jail bond yesterday and the abortion. Do you want to stick to the I can do that. But, regarding the jail bond, it's a foundational problem, lacking morality. The problem I would advocate is actually created by government to be able to benefit itself, to further criminalize the American people and destroy our freedom. And what really needs to happen is a foundational paradigm shift where law enforcement or the government realizes that law doesn't prevent crime. I think that's where a big part of that comes from. As for abortion, some of the things to consider would be that the government doesn't give rights. The left believes that it does, which is, and so that's where one of those problems is. The other part is that SCOTUS can't make law. I mean, the Supreme Court can't make law. Constitutionally, it is a blatant federal overreach. Now, somebody might say it's a state issue. Well, I would disagree that it's not even a state issue because the states can't endorse murder, and they can't redefine the English language and defy natural law. The other part of this is the term effects of the multicultural changes in demographics. And so what that basically means in a sense is that when this Anglo-Saxon nation was created, yes, it is a white nation, and it was actually created, we were the majority, which made us a nation. When you take a nation and you multiculturalize it and you break down the cultures and the traditions,